Caddis Maximus here, this time with a review of the 33-piece Harbor Freight Hercules 3-inch impact-rated security bit set. And I was actually pretty excited about these. They're on the shelf for $25, and I actually think that's a reasonable price. They're Taiwanese made, and really it's a unique bit set. You're probably not going to find a bit set like this on the shelves anywhere, any type of hardware, construction supply. And that's what got me so excited, is I'm surprised that Harbor Freight went for these because they're kind of an esoteric bit set. But I'm sure that they'll get plenty of sales, especially on the shelf, when people see these little bits. It's a nice collection of security bit sets, but they are long shank, and they're proper. They have turned down shanks on the smaller sizes, and they of course increase in size as the shanks increase proportionally with the tip size. And so they'll get down into small recesses. A long time ago, Harbor Freight sold a set like this, which I really liked and I've taken care of. I've even had to re-drill and grind down a couple of the star ones. And this actually had a heavier duty case. They do have an easier to use case, but it doesn't hold the bits as well in the newer Hercules. This case was always kind of annoying because it held the bits. You almost needed pliers to pull the bits in and out, but they didn't fall out. And I'm always, I like buying stuff in stores because I like seeing the tools that I'm buying rather than looking at a couple photographs on the web and then getting them and saying, oh, the fit and finish isn't really very good. And if I had been able to hold them in my hand, I wouldn't have bought them in the first place. So that's why a lot of my tools come from brick and mortar stores. Just the fact that I like to see what the heck I'm buying. And these old Harbor Freights, the drilling wasn't perfectly centered, but they were like $20, and they've been absolutely great for me. These are certainly manufactured to a much higher degree of tolerance. If we come across the tips here, if we can get the darn camera, this does not want to focus today. But we can see that there is surprisingly good centering of the holes in relation to the body of the actual bit. And if we flip it around here on these Torx bits, I mean, you can just tell by the evenness of the little ridge that's along the tip of the bits there. Really pretty surprised about that. I'm also happy that they've changed the configuration of the bit set. The old bit set was pretty good, but they included just some normal or some posi type Phillips, as well as just some normal Phillips bits along with this set. They went ahead and changed it up a bit to a system that I think is really wise. We have our 4 sizes of 2-pin. We have 9 sizes of security Torx. 3 sizes of the what would be 4-wing security Phillips. And a security Phillips, as you can see, it's just like a Phillips, but it's offset. Each of the wings is offset like a fan blade, and that's what makes it a security bit. And then we have 4 different sizes of the tri-wing. And then what I liked up here is that we have 6 sizes of both fractional as well as 6 sizes of metric, all the way up to 6 millimeters. With the fractional, it's very good increments, but it stops at 5/32, a pretty small size, and I was a little surprised about that. But there's always a type of compromise with these 33-bit piece. Sometimes they're called 34. Sometimes they do or do not count that bit. Sometimes they do or do not count the actual holder themselves. This holder is pretty easy to get the bits out of. It's pretty, the bits are very well lubed from the factory. I'm surprised. They must have initially had some severe rusting issues. These are totally slathered in oil, but it doesn't stink. I'm surprised. So these bits are pretty easy to get in and out of, but I do worry about them falling out. It seems to be okay, but you can feel some of them rattling around, and I think it's fine, but I was surprised. It's just a little bit loose, and I worry about them if you just keep this in a toolbox, as some of the bits working their way out. And on the hexes, if we get real close in the light, we can see that all the hex bits are actually machined on the outside, so those are going to have some pretty good tolerances. I think the worst bit as far as tolerances would be this tiny little tube or pin bit, and it isn't perfectly centered, but that's really the only one. The shank on this bit, however, is just super thin. It's actually proportional for that, and I like the fact that they do turn down the shank, so if you have this type of security bit that's in a piece of electronics down deep, you won't have any issues with clearance. So these are kind of like precision screwdrivers. But man, that thing is super duper thin right there. You can just feel it flexing. Overall, I think this is a nice bit set for $25. I mean, they're impact rated. They look pretty decent. They're Taiwanese made, and they actually have, they are machine bits. Really pretty surprised. They really are some nice looking bits. If we even look at the star bit here, this thing is, if it had another brand name on it, I mean, you would accept that it was a Bosch or a Milwaukee or pretty much anybody else. These are surprisingly well made, so I'm kind of glad Harbor Freight has these. Because right now, you have to hunt around online to find a bit set that's similar to this. I mean, this is actually, this bit set will probably turn out to be one of those Harbor Freight gems because it's a high quality bit set, impact, security, long. So that just about finishes it up. The only odd thing is that even though they do include an adapter, it's kind of like a second thought thing because you always include these adapters with 1-inch bit sets. But it seems a little bit weird with a 3-inch bit set because especially since these are made for quick change, and they of course do have the sizes stamped on the side of the bit. I do like that. Nice and large too. It's actually easy to read. But this little adapter just seems weird because the back of this bit's going to wobble around a little bit in it, and they're already long bits. Glad included something extra, but maybe just having a top molded piece to protect the ends of all these bits might have been a better option than this thing here. And before I forget, this only goes to 5/32 in the fractional, but it goes from 2 to 6 millimeters. And then on the Torx, it goes from T8 all the way up to T40. Really nice wide selection on the Torx. Really just, these are going to be the most common types of security bits you will, an average person will run into using, fixing electronics and that type of stuff. Although there is a whole planet of different security bits out there. But to tell you the truth, I went for these, and this is probably going to be one of the few items I would, recommend to Harbor Freight for $25. There's just such a huge amount of machine work in each of these bits, the way they turn down all those diameters. Each one has a little heat shrinks blue little label on it, which is yet another step and another component. So, and the degree of precision they're manufactured, I'd say finally at least something to get excited about at Harbor Freight. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody watching and subscribing. I also wanted to say that over the couple years, I haven't really responded to it. There's been a few people, obviously not a ton, but who have graciously offered, have asked if I would set up a Patreon or something like that. And I've looked at a lot of those sites, and a lot of them just, once you get into the details, I don't think they're really worth it for the type of person I am. A lot of the reason I do these videos, this is all stuff I'd be buying whether or not I made videos. So I figured, find some people to talk to about this stuff. I think I'm more comfortable with, as I pass 10,000 subscribers, there'll be increasing opportunities for t-shirts and stuff like that. And so that's really kind of where I'm going forward to get more support. But don't worry, I'll continue to do reviews. And I just wanted to say I really appreciate everybody's offers. Right now, it's not something I can accept. I do have a P.O. box, and I may accept some things to, review or tear down or anything like that. But as far as monetary donations, I'm going to hold off on that until I can, maybe get some, t-shirts or something going and be supported that way. Anyway, until next time, Catus Maximus out.